Welcome to the Alabama School of Fine Arts Theater Arts Information Session. Tonight you will learn more about the Theater Arts Department at ASFA and all of the requirements for our program. We are joined tonight by John Manzelli, who is our Theater Arts Department Chair. He's going to talk to you in just a minute. But for those of you who are not familiar with the Alabama School of Fine Arts, the Alabama School of Fine Arts is both an academic and arts and science specialty school located in the heart of downtown Birmingham. Our students take all of the academic courses as they would at any public middle school and high school in Alabama in order to receive an Alabama high school diploma. What's different about us is that in addition to doing all of the normal classes that students take, our students stick around for an additional 90 minutes to 3 hours where they get to specialize in one of 6 areas, be it creative writing, dance, music, theater, visual arts, or advanced level mathematics and science. But tonight you're going to hear all about theater. And we are joined by Mr. Manzelli. So let me tell you a little bit about John Manzelli. John is an award-winning actor, director, producer, fight choreographer, and theater educator. He is a 2-time Carbonell, did I say that right? Nominee for Best Lead Actor, most recently for the one-man tour de force, Fully Committed, that was performed at the Broward Center for Performing Arts in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He is a member of the Actors Equity Association and the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists, and he has portrayed numerous roles on stage and screen, including 2 seasons in the recurring role of Saul Drucker on TV's Magic City, which appeared on Starz. Okay. And you can find out more about John if you decide to go to imdb.com or johnmanzelli.com. John was previously, before coming to ASFA, he was an associate professor of theater at Barry University in Miami for 10 years, where he had the honor of directing a production of Still Life with Academy Award winner Alex, help me with the last name, John.
Dinelaris.
See, I couldn't have said that. Okay. And Grammy legend Gloria Estefan and Academy Award nominee Danny
Aiello.
There we go. John's been in a lot of fun stuff. He's been in Burn Notice, he's been in Graceland, and tonight he's going to tell you what he can offer to your child if you consider them applying to attend the Alabama School of Fine Arts. So take it away, John.
Thank you, Geronda. It's a little embarrassing, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, all of you who will be watching this and who are joining us. This is the Dorothy Jemison Day Theater. This is our home performing arts center here at the Alabama School of Fine Arts. So if you come here, you will have a chance to perform on our stage, which is kind of awesome to have this kind of opportunity. We offer a middle school and high school program. They are 2 separate but connected programs. So if you come in middle school, 7th or 8th grade, the program would consist of 1.5 hours of after school training in mostly musical theater, movement, and acting. And if you come in the 9th grade, between 9th and 12th grade, you enter a comprehensive program of different theater arts. So every student learns all the theater arts that we have to offer. So you come in and you perform different acting classes. All students take some musical theater classes. All students take technical theater classes in scene design, light design, costume design, stagecraft. We offer multiple performance classes. And if you are interested in musical theater, you can join what's going to become our new musical theater track, which will have more advanced dance classes, as well as some private voice lessons attached to that. And you can take a more advanced musical theater track if you do that. If you're not musically inclined, no problem whatsoever. You get the ASFA's historical and legendary program of theater training that we've had for years. So no problem there. We are 4 staff members on campus, 4 full-time faculty members. Most schools can't compete with that in terms of the theater arts. We are experts in all of our fields. And if we teach something in which one of us is not an expert in the field, we go out and hire an expert so that you are always taught by people who are inside their specialty areas. No one is trying to teach anything that that isn't their first ability, love, and specialty. So that's kind of the nutshell of how the program works. If you wish to audition for the program, the information is online, but it's pretty simple. You're going to perform one monologue for us originally. That's the first round of auditions, is one monologue. It's a 2-minute monologue. There are a number of monologues you can choose that are on our website right now. You do not have to, though. You may choose one if you like it. If you don't, choose something similar that speaks to you. You're going to do a 2-minute monologue. You're going to record it. It's going to be a still camera. Just record the monologue for us, perform as best you can. And what we're looking for is your personality. We're looking for what you're passionate about. We're looking for something that shows who you are as a person and what you're excited about and why you want to do this for us. If you make it past that first round, we are a highly competitive program, but if you do make it past the first round, we will then give you a monologue to prepare for us for a second round of auditions that will happen in person. So once we get to the second round of auditions, everyone auditioning in the second round has the same 6 or 8 choices to make and will not have had any more time to prepare them than you will. So we do that to kind of make the level the playing field and make it more equitable in that way. Everyone gets the same work. They get a chance to work on it, prepare it for us, and show us what you would do if you were in school with us and we gave you something to work on. So that's the program in a nutshell. I know we have a couple of people here. I'd be happy to answer some questions, but is there anything in particular you're thinking I'm leaving out right now, Dronda?
I remember you addressing the 7th and 8th grade curriculum, but could you repeat what the students in 9th through 12th?
Sure.
study?
Sure. So all students in 9th grade will take, all students in 9th grade take a musical theater course, even if you don't really love musical theater, but it's a good class for movement and voice and sort of training all of what we do here. You would also take some introduction technical courses and some introduction theater courses. And then once you get to the 10th grade, you have a choice of electing which track you want to take. If you want to be musical, you want to take musical theater, you would take a more musical theater courses, and then courses in costume, light, sound design. We have courses in film acting, stage combat, directing. All students direct a short piece in their senior year, and then they have the opportunity to put on a piece of work as a capstone project at the end of their senior year. So that's how that works. And if you're not musically inclined, you just take more advanced electives in theater. So for example, we're offering a class in dialect and accent work. We're offering a class in playwriting for the students who are not musically inclined. And so over the course of time, you're going to take, at least 12 different, actually at least 14 different theater courses you will take if you come into the 9th grade by the time you graduate.
Cool. Can you talk about some of your recent performances, some of the things that the students have presented in particularly this year, and then talk about the COVID year and what we produced that year?
Sure. So we just produced a large-scale production of Romeo and Juliet set in Alabama. We set it between the competitive houses of Alabama and Auburn. So we call it the Iron Bowl, and that was actually very successful. We enjoyed that quite a bit. 2 years ago, we did, before COVID, we did a piece called The Wolves, which is a contemporary piece about a teenage women's soccer team and the kind of things that young ladies deal with as they try to grow up and they try to figure out who they are as people and sort of competitive environment. We will do a musical every year now. We will start producing a musical every year. That has not historically been what we've done, but we will begin that actually this year. We're going to put on a musical called 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee that goes on in the spring. During COVID, we got clever and we wound up producing a puppet film. So all of our students built puppets. They wrote a show about, we called it ASFA's Got Talent. It was a America's Got Talent style performance show performed by puppets. that our students all wrote, created, and we filmed it, put it into a short film, and that film actually won a couple awards, including a award in Calcutta, India, of all places. So we're pretty proud of how that turned out. So we keep trying to figure out new things to perform, new ways to do things, and our curriculum is constantly evolving.
Cool. Now, we understand this is your third year at ASFA, but you are familiar with some of our graduates who've come back, I imagine. Can you tell us about any students that you're aware of that have finished the ASFA theater program and then continued to study theater elsewhere?
Sure. So none of the graduates I've had have become famous quite yet. They have gone on to numerous college programs, including Pace and Syracuse and a number of really good schools lately. We did, the first year I was here, so just 3 years ago, we had an alumni event of recent alums who came back to speak, and there were about 6 of them. And 2 of them, I believe, were on Fear the Walking Dead. One of them is a star on a show called Pose. And so our graduates have done extremely well. Mm-hmm. In addition to those students who've sort of gone into the industry right away, our graduates tend to do very well at college auditions, and they tend to do very well going on in the program. We also, I mentioned this when we were here last week in person, that one of the things for me that I think of as a success is that students who come here, many of them will go on to study theater, and this is their passion, and this is what they're going to continue to do. But for many of our students, this is their passion, but they get to school and they figure that, you know what, there's something else for me. You know, I love the theater. I work hard at it. This is my joy, but I want to go do something else when I get to college. And I tell parents that I consider that a success as well. I've had graduates who've come to me in different programs and said, Mr. Manzelli, I'm so sorry. I love this place so much. I think I want to be a doctor though. Are you mad at me? I'm like, no, why would I be mad at you? You want to go be a doctor, go be a doctor. That's fantastic. And in the process of our program, they learn poise. They learn the ability to work together with a group. They learn how to stand in front of people and be confident and show who they are. And they kind of learn who they are as people and what they care about and what kind of change they want to make in the world. And so we consider all of those successes.
Exactly. That's what we're here for. Let's open it up to the parents to see, and students, to see if you have any questions about anything you've heard so far. I'm sure there's one burning question out there.
How many performances do you do a year?
Good question. So we do 3 full productions. We do 2 on our main stage and 1 in our black box. Although this year we're actually going to put all 3 of them on our main stage. Surprise, by the way. Nobody knows that except me. And then we also do some other performance opportunities. So there is a 1-act showcase in the fall, which we're about to get ready to do, in which the seniors direct short pieces, and that puts about 25 students in that production, and that goes on in our black box. We also do showcases around our musical theater and around some other things that will take place on our DJD stage as well. So there's about 3 other kinds of performance opportunities, and then there's 3 productions. Good question.
Hi, is it possible, if you are looking to pursue a musical theater-esque career, would you be able to mix and match the classes? Like if you were interested in playwriting as well as like the typical musical theater stuff, so you could take like playwriting instead of like one of the main courses? All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's an elective, there's one class that's set up as an elective every year once you get to 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So that's where those kinds of things fall. So yes, you can. It's not to say that if you're on the musical theater track, you don't get to take all those other courses. It's just, you have to make certain choices, but you certainly can take things that are of interest, like playwriting.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Good question.
What's the typical schedule like with the normal classes plus the electives, and how many courses in a year are they taking theater classes?
Okay, so
for 9th graders.
Okay, so they take an academic core of classes in the morning. They start at around 8 a.m., I believe it is. And that goes till approximately 1:30, 1:45. So it's a full day of academic courses that have nothing to do with our specialty. So we firmly believe in education, and coming here does not mean that you get any less of an education. In fact, you probably get more, quite frankly. At 1:45, you go on to your specialty courses. And so from 1:45 till 4:45, that's 3 hours, you have theater courses each day. So, which is a lot, but it's broken into 2 different courses. So you'll take a course on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for an hour and a half. And then you'll take a second course for an hour and a half. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, you do the same thing. So you take 3 to 4 courses in 9th and 10th grade of theater each semester. And then when you get to junior year and senior year, you have an added course. There's an added period. So you're doing at least 3 hours every day.
And as far as out-of-state admissions go, are you less inclined to take a student who's out of state compared to one who's in Alabama?
From my end, no. I could let Geronda speak to, I don't know how that works exactly in terms of finances and other things like that, but I know that that's not a prejudice for us necessarily, no.
Okay.
The only difference, you will have the same opportunity as a resident of Alabama. The only difference is because our school is funded by the Alabama legislature, we are considered tuition free. Students would only pay their, what we used to call it matriculation, now it's enrollment fee or something to those words, to let us know that you, number one, plan to enroll at our school in the fall, and that fee is $200 for the entire school year. And then theater has its own fee, which I think is an additional, where's my chart?
Like $200, something like that.
Yeah, right at $200 as well. And so families can pay that up front, or they can pay that in increments as long as it's paid by the end of the school year. Now, for out-of-state students, you would have to pay out-of-state tuition, which is $4,200 per semester. So you're talking about $8,400 for the year for just tuition, plus the dormitory fee. And the dormitory fee is $1,300 per semester. So you're looking at $2,600 for the entire school year.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you.
John mentioned something that I wanted to elaborate on just a second. He mentioned the 4 classes that you would take, and he alluded to the 4 faculty members that we have, and they're all professional artists in their field. John, would you mind telling the viewers who we have on staff and what their special areas are?
Sure. So on the performance faculty, Susan McCain is one of our acting teachers. She's been a university professor, and her area is primarily voice and different acting techniques. Myself, and then we have technically we have Laura Prim, who is our scenic design and lighting design specialist, and then we have Peggy Hammond, who deals with costume and makeup. And
the great thing for those of you who, it may not obviously appear to you, but anyway, long story short, our kids are doing both the in front of the stage work, being actors and actresses, but they're also learning about the behind the scenes. So they're designing the sets, they're making the costumes, they're doing the lights and the sound. So they get the full gamut of what it's like to work in a full professional theater. So that's not the case at every typical high school where you're studying theater. So I think that's another thing that makes us unique. Not only are your children working with professional artists in the field that they're interested in, but they're also learning the ins and outs of what a true professional theater, how it operates.
Yep.
So I just wanted to highlight that.
Are there
I
any
know
other
there are more questions. I'm sorry, John, what did you say?
I was doing the same thing you did. Are there any other questions? That's all.
Yeah, okay.
How many students are in the school and how many students are in the theater program?
So, Geronda, am I right? The school's about 300 to 350, something, give or take.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
The theater program right now is approximately 50. It's about 50 students. So, and that is where it will live. It'll live somewhere between 45 and 55 students, give or take.
And a lot of times families like to know, well, how many applicants do you get every year? And how many people do you accept? And the way we like to answer that is the number of applicants each year really depend upon you all, depends upon how many people choose to apply. Some years we will have as many as, say, 200, 250 people to apply. And then some years we might have a little less than that, maybe right at 200. My first year here, back in the year 2000, we had close to 500 applicants, but that was because students could apply for more than one area. And we noticed that when we allowed students to do that, it doubled the amount of work that we had to do to review all of that information. So we scaled it back. And so you really have to pick that one area that you are truly passionate about, that one area that you would do even if you were, I don't know, you just love doing it. That's all I can think of how to say that. But so since we did that, of course, the numbers went down a little bit, but in terms of how many people we accept across all 6 departments and across all 6 grade levels, it usually averages between somewhere about 85 to 100 students every year. We know that we anticipate having at least 70 students to graduate, so we have to replenish those 70. And then through attrition, we may lose another 30 or so. So that's how we generally come up with the number of students that we can accept. But I would like for John to talk about specifically for theater, how you all approach the numbers aspect of how many people you can accept.
Yeah, that's tricky because it really is variable depending on each grade and how many students we have in each grade. We try very hard to keep that number about the same, so there's a similar amount of openings each year. It's the truth is we are limited. We are very competitive and we are limited. So if you apply here, you need to do as much work as you possibly can on this audition, and you need to show your best foot. The students who are ready to be here and put a lot of work in, they tend to get to a callback and have a chance. And the students who aren't ready tend to not. That doesn't mean that you have to be, having taken theater since you were 5 years old. Not at all. We really try to look at potential and students that we think will come in here and learn and have the right attitude and show the ability to learn this art form and carry themselves the right way and be part of our school and our community. So it's not really about those who have the best, most polished monologues in that way. It's really about the students who we assess in a difficult art form as having the most potential to succeed at our school.
And we often try to tell families, let us be concerned about the numbers. We just want you to be concerned about your child applying and completing their application. And as long as they put their best foot forward and their hard work, that will be shown in the application and in the interview process as well.
Yeah, what I promise, I'm sorry, Jordan.
No, go ahead.
What I can promise is that we do spend time, energy, and real consideration on every kid who applies. So don't, like Geronda said, don't worry about the numbers at this point. If you are interested in being here, go through the process and let us worry about it.
And just to give you an idea of the timeline, the application deadline is Friday, January 28th. I'm going to repeat that again. Friday, January 28th. We'd like to see your video with your dramatic monologue. And as John mentioned, there are recommended monologues on our website. However, you can perform whatever monologue is true to your heart for the first round. And then repeating what he said, the second round, everyone will have, if you're invited to the on-campus audition, everyone will have monologues to choose from. Is everyone performing the same monologue, John?
It's a group of about 8, so you can choose one that speaks to you, but no one will have it ahead of time. So it's sort of, you get to choose one of 8.
And we encourage you to read the entire play because that gives you a full idea of the scope of that character that you're performing. So you bring more to the character if you understand the full background of what that character is dealing with. And then, so after you submit your information, you will hear from us within 2, maybe 3 weeks after the deadline. That gives the theater faculty time to review your video that you submitted. And then the theater auditions will be, I have this written down, but it's by invitation. But theater will have their auditions on the second Saturday in March. So you will definitely hear from us no later than the last day of February. So if you could just give us a little time, you will definitely hear from us by the last day in February, letting you know if you've been invited to the on-campus audition. And we already talked about what you could do at the on-campus audition, performing the monologue. And then you also have an interview with our theater faculty to talk about your aspirations and your interests and even the character that you're performing. And after that, the department chairs all get together and they discuss how many students they can take in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. And let me remind you that 10th grade is the last year that we allow students to apply because there's certain requirements they have to complete here at ASFA during their 11th and 12th grade year. So you can apply as early as 6th grade, or you can wait and apply as late as 10th grade to enter ASFA. But the announcement from our principal's office will go out on March 18th, which is, I got that right, yes. March 18th is when letters or emails will go out notifying you if your child has been invited to enroll at ASFA. So if you don't get the news you're hoping for the first time around, we encourage you to try again because there's so many variables that go into the selection process. The numbers, class size, the number of students we can take, the level of ability. Some years we have a group of applicants that are just top notch, and so it makes it really hard. Then some years it's like, oh, yeah, let's give them a chance, you know? So you never know is what we're trying to say. Just apply. And then, so like I said, you'll hear from us by the end of March of whether you've been invited to enroll in the school. And you'll also get a letter from us about fees and what to anticipate. And I think I already mentioned the dormitory fee. And then school for us will start usually the second Monday in August. So we start pretty early. And we usually have a holiday, one holiday per month. So I want to make sure the dorm families understand that the dormitory will close for Labor Day in September. In October, I think we used to have fall break. I'm not sure if that's every year. But then November, of course, we're closed for a week at Thanksgiving. December, of course, we're closed for Christmas and winter break. January, I think the dorm may stay open for Dr. King holiday weekend as well as President's Day weekend. In February, March, we're closed for spring break for 1 week. And then April, sometimes there's a late spring holiday where the dorm is closed for 1 weekend. And then before you know it, it's May, graduation, end of the school year, and your child's back home with you. So the school year really speeds by around here because there's always so much going on, The other thing I wanted to mention, you may want to know about the dorm. We have a dorm director who is also our school nurse. So he is assisted by 5 female RAs and 3 male RAs, resident assistants, I should say, who are all local college students, but they live here on campus, and they're responsible for ensuring the safety and the well-being of our students after the school day ends at 4:40. So, and granted, the 7th and 8th graders are dismissed at 3:12. So yes, they also are responsible for those dorm students that are in 7th and 8th grade as well, after 3:12. The 7th and 8th graders in the dormitory are required to go to study hall for 1 or 2 hours each night, just to make sure they're staying up to date on their schoolwork. There is a roll call every night at 10 p.m. to make sure everyone's accounted for. We have security here on campus from 7 a.m. in the morning until 11 p.m. at night. So we're a very safe campus located in the heart of downtown Birmingham. We have our perimeter is guarded with fencing and all of that. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else you might want to know about the dorm? Okay. Well, we thank you for joining us.
We do have a question.
Yes.
I think I've heard there's no meals on the weekends for dorm students. Is that accurate?
That is right, but we do have van runs. And so I've actually witnessed this for myself. I was going out for a pizza on a Saturday afternoon, and here we go. There's the ASFA van taking dorm students to Pizza Hut. And then granted, you know, Pizza Hut could deliver, but here's the thing, the van was filled with like 5 or 6 dorm students. So they went to a place where some could go get pizza, some could go get wings, some could go get a sub sandwich. But so you know, there's a way for your child to survive over the weekend. We have the space for them to store their, you know, any food items, you know, that they might want to cook for themselves or microwave over the weekend. So, and to be honest with you, I'm told that out of the 50 students that are in the dorm, I would say at least half of them, if not more, will go home for the weekend. And then, so there's a, you know, a smaller number here on the weekend, but they are like a tight-knit family. They, you know, help one another and stick together and do things together. And the dorm staff is very good about planning activities for the students too. At least once a month, they're having some type of student activity just for the dorm students. And so they are well nurtured while they're here.
I heard you say there were 50 students in the dorms. Is that 50 out of the 300 total for the school? So most of the students are there are local?
That's right. We usually say that 70% of our students are commuter students. They come from, you know, within a 7-county radius, so they can commute every day. And the remaining 30% would be in our, well, that means that would be 90, so that's not right. That math doesn't add up. I was not a math major. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, we roughly have about 50 students in the dorm, bottom line.
Do you think you'd be able to tell me about like roughly how many people who make callbacks end up being able to enroll in the school?
The short answer is no. And that's not to be evasive, but it's just not that we're not doing this on a percentage. Like we don't decide we're going to take 10% and then 10%. We call back all the students that we think have a chance. So that is entirely different each year. And then it becomes a question of what they do or what you would do given so what happens in the callback is you're given a new piece of material and you're going to show us how ready you are for our school. You're going to take that material, learn it, do the homework essentially, and perform it for us. So that really just changes. And it's not a number, except we don't have a number. So I'm not being evasive, but the answer is I'm sorry, no.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And I want to redeem myself by saying that roughly 80 to 85% of our students commute. Okay. Oh, wow. Well, if there aren't any other questions, again, we want to say thank you so much for taking time to join us tonight and to learn more about our program. I am going to stop the recording, but I'd like for you to remain with us for just a second because I need to ask a few more questions and then we'll let you go for tonight. But thank you for joining us.
One second, Geronda. So this is my email address. If anyone has further questions or wants to know about how to audition or has any questions about the program.
And for those of you that may join us later and you may not see the chat, it says jmanzelli at the abbreviation for the Alabama School of Fine Arts, which is A like Apple, S like Sam, F like Frank, A like Apple, school.org. J Manzelli at asfaschool.org. And there are a lot of other helpful links in the chat too. So thank you to my colleague, Katie Roach Dudley, who is our marketing director. And she has provided a lot of helpful links about the application requirements as well as the dorm. So at this point, I'm going to stop recording. And then, okay.